Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving right into something you've probably experienced firsthand, but maybe never completely understood from a scientific perspective: the human-animal bond. You know that incredible warm, fuzzy feeling you get when a dog rests its head on your knee? Well, it turns out that's not just a fleeting emotion. It's actually a highly evolved, scientifically backed biological reality, and it's literally reshaping how we handle stress, approach medicine, and even structure our society.
Okay, let's dive into this. To really understand just how powerful this bond is, look no further than the 2024 Paris Olympic trials. The athletes on the USA gymnastics team were facing, quite literally, some of the most intense, high-stakes stress of their entire lives. But instead of solely relying on sports psychologists or physical therapies, the team brought in their busiest volunteer, a golden retriever named Beacon. Beacon is a therapy dog specifically deployed to alleviate anxiety for these elite athletes. And the research shows this absolutely isn't some placebo effect. Interacting with a dog physically buffers the impact of stress. So it brings up a fascinating question researchers are now asking. Could dogs actually be a new kind of performance-enhancing drug?
Here's a quick roadmap for our explainer today. We'll start with number 1, the science of connection. Then 2, combating the loneliness epidemic. 3, therapy dogs in action. And finally, 4, strengthening the animal bond. Let's get right into section 1, the science of connection, from brain scans to biological bonds. So this whole process, it all starts with a neurochemical called oxytocin. You've probably heard it called the love hormone. It's actually the exact same chemical released between parents and newborn babies to establish a deep bond of trust. According to research from Paumanok Veterinary Hospital, petting a calm dog for just 5 to 10 minutes causes this massive release of oxytocin in your brain. And it doesn't act alone either. It brings along a rush of serotonin and dopamine, which are your powerful mood boosters, while simultaneously forcing down your levels of cortisol, the primary hormone responsible for stress.
Now, what's really interesting about this is that the reaction is entirely reciprocal. It is a true biological two-way street. When you're petting a dog, your oxytocin rises, your cortisol drops, and your heart rate lowers. But if we look at the dog's brain, the exact same thing is happening to them. Their oxytocin levels spike, their stress evaporates, and their heart rate stabilizes. They feel safer and way more secure simply by interacting with you. And dogs are biologically hardwired to understand us. There was this fascinating study covered by BBC Science Focus, led by researcher Raul Hernandez Perez, where they actually put dogs into MRI machines and showed them pictures of human faces. What they found was incredible. The dog's temporal cortex and caudate nucleus, those are the regions of the brain associated with higher cognitive and reward processing, lit up like a Christmas tree when they saw joyful human expressions. Plus, the brain scans proved that dogs can actually distinguish between complex negative emotions too. They can tell the difference between a sad, an angry, or a fearful human face. So they don't just see us, they literally read us. Moving on to section 2, combating the loneliness epidemic, how pets heal the mind. The daily reality for someone suffering from isolation is pretty stark. Loneliness without a pet often feels entirely empty, excessively quiet, and just deeply isolating. But introducing a pet completely changes the texture of that solitude. Loneliness with a pet feels softer and so much more manageable. It fills that void with warmth and a totally non-judgmental connection. You know, pets don't care if you've had a bad day or made a mistake at work. They act as a profound emotional anchor in what can be a really chaotic world. And the data backs this up in a massive way. A nationally representative survey conducted by the Human-Animal Bond Research Institute, or HABRI, alongside Mars Pet Care, found a heavy-hitting statistic. 85% of people agree that interacting with pets reduces loneliness. On top of that, 80% of pet owners explicitly state that their own pet makes them feel less lonely on a daily basis. To give this some real institutional weight, let's look at what Dr. Vivek Murthy, the former U.S. Surgeon General, has to say. He notes that the more people interact with pets, the more it softens them, lowers our stress levels, and allows us to connect in a way that perfectly complements our human relationships. Pets teach us essential lessons about love, compassion, and reaching out to others. They act as natural social bridges, right? They make it so much easier to strike up a conversation with a neighbor during a dog walk or bond with complete strangers at the park. And this brilliantly illustrates the long-term mental health impact. Because of the routine, the responsibility, and the deep sense of purpose that's required to care for an animal, pet owners build incredible resilience.
In fact, individuals who own pets are 36% less likely to experience depression compared to non-pet owners. Think about it. Giving an animal care and affection gives us a tangible reason to get out of bed and stay grounded in the present.
Let's move to section 3 and see how this builds. Therapy dogs in action, from the Olympics to the classroom.
First off, we need to clear up a very common misconception: the difference between a therapy dog and a service dog. A service dog is highly trained to perform specific tasks for a single dedicated owner. A therapy dog, on the other hand, has a much broader mandate. Their job is to provide support, comfort, and calm to many different people. Dr. Nancy Gee, who leads the Dogs on Call program at Virginia Commonwealth University, studies these unscripted, stress-relieving interactions. She points out that therapy dogs act as a sort of social lubricant, allowing athletes, patients, and students to take a vital mental break and just reset. When we bring therapy dogs into schools, for example, the results are just phenomenal. Data from the Alliance of Therapy Dogs shows a really clear split in the benefits. On the socio-emotional side, a dog's presence reduces negative behaviors, builds trust, and acts as a social catalyst that prevents isolation. But then, when we look at the cognitive benefits, just having a calm dog in the room actually stimulates problem solving, enhances memory, and literally improves reading skills.
Now, if you doubt the academic impact of that, consider this. A University of California study monitored students who participated in canine reading programs. They found that by simply reading out loud to a non-judgmental therapy dog, the students saw their reading fluency skyrocket by 12 to 30%. It makes sense, right? The anxiety of making a mistake just vanishes when your audience is a golden retriever who's just thrilled to be hanging out with you.
Dr. Nancy Gee perfectly summarizes why this works across the board, whether we're talking about a struggling student or an Olympic gymnast. She says, dogs pretty much always live in the moment, so they may help athletes do the same thing. When we worry, it damages our executive functioning, our ability to focus and solve problems. By interacting with a dog, we are forced to inhibit off-task thoughts. The dog becomes this great leveler, anchoring us completely in the present moment. Section 4, strengthening the animal bond. Practical steps for mutual connection.
It turns out, because this is a co-evolutionary partnership, there is an actual science to petting. According to guidelines from Pominock Veterinary Hospital, there is absolutely a right way to physically interact with a dog to activate those calming neural pathways. Most dogs strongly prefer gentle strokes along their chest or shoulders, a slow scratch under their chin, and above all else, calm, predictable movements. This physically signals to them that they are safe.
Conversely, there are common mistakes people make. The wrong way includes sudden pats right on top of the head, hugging the dog tightly, or touching sensitive areas like their paws or tails without any warning. So the crucial point is this: fast or rough touching doesn't show affection. It actually increases a dog's anxiety and undermines their trust in you, which is especially true with senior dogs or recent rescues.
If you want to build an unbreakable bond, you can make this incredibly simple routine part of your day. Step 1, dedicate just 10 minutes to petting your dog without any distractions. No phones, no TV, just you and them. Step 2, make gentle eye contact. Interestingly, unlike wolves, domesticated dogs have actually evolved to seek out the human gaze, and locking eyes creates a really powerful oxytocin feedback loop for both of you. And step 3, combine your predictable touch with soft verbal praise. This repetition teaches the dog that your presence equals safety. And hey, if you're watching this and thinking, well, that's great, but I don't have a pet, please don't worry. You can still reap these incredible biological and mental health benefits. Organizations like Mental Health America highly suggest volunteering at local animal shelters, offering to walk a neighbor's dog, visiting cat cafes or local farms, or seeking out healthcare providers that actively incorporate animal-assisted therapy. The benefits of human-animal interaction are absolutely accessible to everyone if you just know where to look. So, we've seen how just 5 to 10 minutes of gentle interaction can lower our blood pressure, spike our love hormones, reduce the likelihood of depression, and sharply increase our cognitive focus. I'll leave you with this final amazing thought. If a 10-minute interaction with a dog can literally rewire our brain chemistry for the better, how could we redesign our modern workplaces, our hospitals, and our schools to systematically include them? The science is abundantly clear. We are better, healthier, and happier when we share our lives with animals. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep exploring the incredible world around you.